say 12 years in council, I never watched myself. I always like skipped over and fast forward.
Really see it or hear it anyway. You can't hear it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the regularly scheduled Rochester Downtown Development Authority meeting for Wednesday, September 22nd, 2022. Madam Director of the role, our secretary is not here this evening.
Ben Giovanelli.
Present.
Mayor Bixon.
Here.
Bob Bloomingdale.
Here.
Tanya Karsten. Eric Diana. Lisa Germani-Williams.
Here.
Paul Haig. Chris Johnson.
Here.
Roger Knapp.
Yes.
Tony Lapuma.
Here.
Tanya Karsten. Marilyn Trent.
Here.
Don.
Oh,
Yeah, because you're a liaison
You're
now.
still on the team.
You're still on
this
the
side of
team. You
fence,
just
that's
switched
all.
tables.
I just wasn't, okay.
No, you're good.
Very good. Don Sinkowitz. Maggie Bobbitz.
Here.
All right.
We have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Fantastic.
I'm just going to shut that down because I don't like that.
Well, I know, it's kind of weird. It's like on the side of my eye, and it's just irritating, unless we need it. Great, thank you, I appreciate that. Good evening, everybody, and thanks for that, which appears to be our last after 80s day. I think it's going to be super cold tomorrow, and that time of the year, so I guess enjoy it while we can. First item on the agenda is to the acceptance of the resignation of Marilyn Trent. Thank goodness. I know, I couldn't wait for her to get out. No, Madam, thank you so much for all of your service. So for those that don't know, Marilyn was city council. Now she's on Rochester City Council, so she can't do both. So she had to give up this one, but luckily, by the grace of God, she just flipped over the side of the fence, and she's still here as our liaison, so it's great. So like I said before, number one, couldn't have picked a better person, so congrats on that. I think to a person, we're going to miss you, but we're not going to miss you because you're going to be right there. So. But with that said, did have to go through the formal process of accepting the resignation, so that's kind of what we're all about this evening. So does anybody have some kind words or some parting shots at Marilyn before we move on?
I'm going to miss the female persuasion down at this end. So.
I'll be over here.
Okay. I'll give you the wink.
They won't let me speak as much, I think, on this side.
Yeah, you
Occasionally.
hey, man, we're,
I get to vote? I don't vote.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
I just,
no, but you still have significant input, and we have to actually look up to even more because a lot of things we want you have to vote for, so, right? So.
I did say, was my head just a
Right.
little lighter.
100%. Well, anyway, so congratulations. Thanks a ton. I'm glad you decided to stay on as our liaison, so that, it was perfect. So nice transition, and, I think to a person, everybody knows, the amount of commitment you've had to the city forever. So couldn't have picked a better person, so congrats.
Thank you very much.
And looking forward to working, continuing our mission, as it were, right? So thanks for that.
Best.
So those, I just asked the mayor, as of yet, there's not anybody in the queue to replace Marilyn on the dais. So if there is anybody, I guess a call to applications, that sort of thing. The process is those applications go to the city clerk who compiles them. They are turned into a regular council meeting, and council votes and appoints that person. And it would be a business or a resident position?
It's a business position because Marilyn was a business position.
Got it. Okay. So, well, you're both. So
You're both, but
I
you're
wasn't sure
yes.
which one. I wasn't sure which box you were
And
taking.
I was
So.
Rochester Chamber Liaison.
Oh
so
dear. Yeah. So that's why Maggie's here this
Three
evening. So yeah.
hats.
So you caused all kinds of havoc just by right. Sorry.
I'm spreading all sorts of things.
That's funny. All right. So it's going to be a business owner. So I guess maybe you could put a bug out to everybody to.
Yeah. We've got a few prospects right now that are thinking about it, that are circling.
All right, sweet, awesome. All right. With that, so once again, thank you for staying, and congratulations. Approval for the meeting minutes for the last meeting of July 20th, 2022. Discussion, or is there a motion in our future
Motion
to approve?
to approve.
Okay.
Support.
All right, support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Fantastic. Audience comments. We have audience here this evening, but they're here for a special purpose, so we'll wait for that for 1 second. And then there's just Nick. Okay, so move on. Liaison reports. City Council, Marilyn Trent, your first liaison report.
I know, I hope I get this right. I summarized, from these 2-hour meetings, and I, just basically, if you have any questions, I can answer most of them, I hope. Or Mayor Bixon will. So they approved 12 ballistic shields for the police department. There's a winter road maintenance contract agreement with Oakland County Commission was approved. It's very important, you'll want that to happen when the snow flies. And city manager Nicholas Banda,
He's gone.
that's how it was said in the notes, okay? He accepted a term of 1 year as the interim city manager, right?
Well, he's the full-time city manager
Right.
now. He's not the interim anymore.
He's officially just
Oh,
Mr.
oh,
Manager.
oops.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's officially, he was interim and now he's.
Correct,
Okay,
yeah.
so he's, yeah, city manager Nicholas Banda, all right. He goes by Nicholas now.
Doesn't,
That's his stuff up.
wasn't sure if there was a crown involved or something.
Contracts for road and mill projects were approved for Bowen paving for Helen and Alice connected. So getting our roads paved.
Excellent.
The contract for automatic vehicle location services with the IHOP was approved. And then that was 8/22, because there's two meetings, obviously. And then for 9/12, there wasn't a whole lot going on, but there was some things. For the finance side, which city council does a lot of work with, the chief financial credit union was chosen for large vehicle financing because finance department wanted to get ahead of this because of the cost of these it's large vehicles. So they got the best deal from our local chief financial credit union. And it was a proactive approach, so it was a good thing to do. And basically they said, whatever you need, we will work with you.
That's
And
awesome.
it was you hear it, it was great. You know, they're in town, they're a great partner, lowest terms, most flexible, and basically ended up being like a line of credit. So as we continue to look for ways to save the city money, we were, at even small levels, we looked at the budget committee was looking at streamlining no-haz and soccer services, which they'll be coming up to the city council soon. And we may be able to save, I don't know, 20,000, around 20,000. And we're also looking into getting more grants because we know they're out there and we want to find them and get them
For sure.
approved. And there is also interest into looking at updating the lighting ordinance. Did I miss anything you can think of?
That sounds awfully complete to me.
I was like, you can tell she's new. It's the most thorough one so far. As you're on there for a while, they'll get less and less detailed. Yeah, we met, we talked about some stuff. It was fun. It was good.
Okay, I'll move up to that one.
All right, very good. No, thank you. We appreciate that. And always important work happening at council, and we appreciate it.
Well, you know, so yeah.
100%. Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening, everyone. I'm kind of reliving my past. When I was on the chamber board many moons ago, I actually sat in this seat after John Gaber did. So, but I am temporary. Our liaison will for the next meetings will be Lisa Swiftney. She's a chamber ambassador, and she's the chair of the the ambassadors this year. So she'll and sits on our board. So she'll be filling in. So now that Miss Marilyn has left us, she officially leaves me in January because she'll be off the board. So things going on at the chamber. So last 80-degree day. We should probably talk about a Christmas parade, right? I want you guys to know this is the first time publicly it'll be announced, but we will be honoring Bill and Sharon Byers as the Grand Marshals for the parade, since they did not get to do it last year. Our theme for the parade this year is Community Love. I ordered the Christmas parade buttons just today. We have applications and sponsorship opportunities at on the chamber website. The applications are starting to roll in very quickly, so I anticipate it being a very large parade, and hope to see all you there. And then other news, even before the parade, we will be hosting our 2022 Sunrise Pinnacle Awards. For those of you that don't know, that is the Chamber's Community Awards ceremony. We still have tickets available for that. And there's going to be a lot of interesting winners this year. So I always like to keep that under wraps, but some interesting people are winning, so if you haven't got your ticket, call me at the office.
Sounds good. Any questions for liaison? All right, great work as always, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
It's nice to see you.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be back. Lisa
Feel
won't
free to
be.
feel free to
Yeah.
come back and make cameos, whatever you want.
Thanks.
We're like Motel 6, we'll leave it on for you.
Will you leave the light on for me?
Yeah,
Thank
right.
you.
You bet.
All right, guys, have a great night.
You too, thank you, appreciate it. Historical, Don Sinkowitz. Don is out this evening, so we'll catch up with him next week. And Mr. Paul is not here, so did you want to pinch hit for PSD?
Sure, so PSD did not meet this month, they'll be meeting in 2 weeks.
Okay.
2 weeks from tonight, actually, so.
Got it, all right, well, very good, blew right through that one. All righty, general business agenda. So this we've been looking forward to for quite some time, and super excited and happy with both winners, so this was fantastic. Couldn't be a better way to kick this off, so as soon as I found out, I was like, yeah. So at this point, we're going to talk about the Bill Lapuma Community Spirit Award announcement. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Vice Chairman Tony Lapuma and our director.
Do you want me to start, or you want to go?
I'll go ahead and start, and then you get to
Okay,
do the
you
fun
got it.
part. Yeah, so for anyone who's not aware, and this is more for the people at home, something that we wanted to do in honor of Bill Lapuma, Tony's dad, who had been a fixture in our community, an icon, as we used to call him, but he didn't like that. But an icon in our community for so many years, and his passing touched so many people in our community. And so we'd been talking about it, and I think Ben started the conversation that Bill just had such a spirit about him, and that we thought, wouldn't it be great if we were able to come up with some way to recognize that and to let that spirit live on. And so that's how the Bill Lapuma Community Spirit Awards were founded. So we put a call out in July asking people to submit nominations of someone that they believed embodied the community pride, spirit, and love of Rochester that Bill demonstrated every day. The conditions of this, that they had to be someone in the downtown community. So they had to be a downtown property owner, business owner, or downtown employee. After throwing that call out there, we had 56 nominations come in over a month period, and then the committee reviewed all of those nominations. And from that, Tony was, I would say, wowed by a lot of them. And so, of course, we couldn't just pick one, so we picked two. And so I'll turn it over to Tony from here.
Okay, like Chrissy said, it was tough. We had 56 people, and we spent a couple hours doing this, going over it, Nick, Christy, and I, and you two won. And, we were going, God, Nick says, we were just going to pick one. And Nick says, we can't do it. We got to do two. So we have two great people, and that's who we picked. Okay, the first award goes to Linda. Linda, is it Gallagher? Yes. Gallagher. And she's the owner of South Street Center. Linda is the heart of downtown Rochester. She has made her store not just another shop, but a home for all those who enter. She genuinely cares about everyone, actively listening and eager to help whatever the need. Linda was the creator of Duck Art, a unique community building event, and takes part in the myriad of community initiatives, most significantly the Rochester Skate Park. Most significant is the impact she has on our youth. She regularly comes to donate to our schools and to help students who do not have enough income to participate in events and clubs without her donations. Linda is a true gem and extremely worthy of this award. You want to come up, Linda?
Yeah,
or-
let's do it, yeah, we do.
You're welcome.
I'll say a couple things, Tony, I think.
I'm going to give you this award.
Wait, Tony, you gotta get the picture.
There's going to be more pictures after, too, don't you
All
worry.
right, okay.
No, we'll do, yep, later, just hang on.
Thank you for inviting me here tonight, and I just think it's a great opportunity to recognize Bill Lapuma and to honor him this way. For a gentleman to have so much passion, spirit, and genuine love for the community, and not only the community, but most likely people in general. Certainly, he would be very proud, and I'm sure, Tony, that you and your family are very proud. So I accept this graciously and humbly, so thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Okay, all right.
All right, so I need the whole board with Linda.
Okay.
If you want to step up, they're going to come in front, and we're going to.
Yeah, Yeah, come on, Nick, get it on.
All the way.
Come on, Nick, you were a big part of this.
Get up here. No, you're in the middle, yeah, you're right in the middle.
That's why I'm wearing the mask.
Okay. So we're gonna do one with everybody, and then I wanna get one just with Tony.
All right, squeeze in.
All right.
Gotta get the light angle going.
A little bit further, okay. All right, everybody ready? Do a couple angles, so don't be alarmed. Just do a few different things here. Okay, and then if I can get Linda and Tony, please.
I know, yeah.
Did our part.
Yes.
Hi, Nicholas. That's funny.
Best gift wrapper in town as well.
But given the land.
I mean,
I have to
Yeah,
remember
I didn't-
sometimes we get our
yeah.
pictures taken. Like, it's
good to know.
When I come to these things and. Oops.
I still, from the first deck art, both my boys were tiny little ones, and the biggest fun they had was going around trying to find their stuff. And that
I
was
remember
like-
texting you when I found one.
Yeah, I know, it's hilarious. So, super fun, and, I mean, amongst all the other stuff, but just everything that you've done has left an indelible mark in the community, so thanks for everything you do, we appreciate it. All right, next up.
Okay, the next person that won the nomination was Renee Perkins, the owner of the Funky Frog Children's Resale Boutique. Renee has done incredible things for the community since taking over the Funky Frog and moving the location downtown many years ago. She is always involved with the community activities such as posed, sidewalk sales, explorer clubs, and deck art, often going above and beyond with decorations and promotions to build excitement. Her free library, little library, and garden at the store shows a pride in the downtown area and attract people to hang out longer downtown. She always has a smile and provides great customer service to her customers. You will often see Renee wearing downtown Rochester shirts, and she takes a great pride in the area and is always optimistic about the future. Renee is a blessing to the downtown area.
And what Tony's been reading, those are actual excerpts from the nominations that we received.
There you go. Congratulations.
Very much, appreciate it. I just want to thank Lapuma's family for the new recognition award that's out there, because this is really an honor to be one of the first included in it, right? And the downtown and the DDA, both the city and the DDA, for making it such a great place to have a business and to live and to enjoy. So I love being here, and thank you very much.
Thank you. All right.
One more time, everybody.
I have a question. Why do we take both pictures? I'm not running. Getting older, I can't.
It was my turn.
I don't think it's closed yet, but I think the answer's yes.
All right. Nick, can you go by Chris, just like balance?
oh, yes. That's why I've been moving everybody around. Are you Nick next to me?
Thanks so much. This is awesome. Okay, and then if I can get just Tony and Renee, and then we're gonna have Tony, you stay put after this one, we're gonna have Linda come back up, so I can picture the three of you.
I didn't get the smile.
I'm sorry.
It's all right, we'll Photoshop it. You'll be good.
8 minutes.
That's what Photoshop's for.
Photoshop.
Okay, perfect.
All right, Tony, you're monkey in the middle.
Yep. Make sure I get enough, 'cause I'm putting- so we'll be
A lot
putting
of
out
lenses
press
on that
release tomorrow.
camera.
iPhone 22. Couldn't think of two more deserving folks. Winner and a winner 1 and 1A, right? So in no distinct order, but thanks again for everything you guys do. We really do appreciate it. It's an embarrassment of riches in this community, and you guys are at the tippy top, so thanks for everything. We appreciate it. All right, moving on to the not-so-fun business. Nick Banda, Economic Development and City Manager Update.
So I've do not have COVID again, but I have wicked allergies, so if I cough, it's that. I'm clean, so.
Hi.
Stuart's got it, he's good.
That's what they
Slink
told
it
me.
over here.
That's what they told me. So you want me to go over this whole city manager?
Well, yeah, it's kind of, there's a lot of moving parts have happened over the course of the last 4 weeks or so. So why don't you
Yes.
get everybody updated?
Yeah, so last time I saw you that, I had told you that I was kind of phasing myself out to retire. And then, the city decided to go a different direction with the city manager, so we started a process, Mayor. We went through, a national search, if you will, to try to find a city manager, for Rochester, and, I was gently put that the talent pool is pretty thin right now, and I think there's a couple of reasons. People, if you're comfortable where you're at, why are you gonna move, unless it's a big dollar change, and when you're in our area, the communities like us are pay about the same, so it's hard to drive somebody for money to get out. So, we had 47 applicants, but there was a thin pool, let's say, and city council did their due diligence. We hired James Petrino, who works for GovHR. We had them go out, we searched high and low, we narrowed it down to 3. We interviewed 3, they offered it to one gentleman, and he ended up turning it down for his own reasons. So, it was kind of like regroup, and, so we worked out a deal. The mayor's very persuasive, I'll put it that way. And I agreed that I would stay for a year. It's not a finite date, up to a year to try to make this transition smooth. So we have people inside here, we have young talent in this building, that might not be ready right now, but with some of those old guys and trying to mentor people and send them to the right training for management and things that are, when you're a young person, you still have to get your boots on the ground experience to be able to get to that next level, right? Council's got a high expectation on what they want. Lowered it with me, I think, but that's okay. But the most important thing was the culture, and we kept talking about we don't want to wreck the culture of this team. So we have an amazing staff here, from top to the bottom. Everybody playing, and we wanted to make sure that that continued, and we're gonna come into some of the best times that we've had in a decade, probably, with, even what you hear all this about the economy, all the stuff that's going on. If you saw me at the business development meeting, look at all that stuff. It's insane. It's just, Planning Commission's got 7 items on their agendas coming up for the next 3 meetings again. So, I agreed to stay and work with our internal folks. Teams firing on all cylinders. Everybody's fired up again. The spark's back here, and we're excited about that. And my wife retired, but I have a grandbaby now. So Steffi had a baby, Charlie, a little girl, Charlie. So Kim's been retired 8 weeks, and I've seen her 4 days. So she goes to Texas and helps my daughter with the baby in Austin. So it's me and Bailey. My dog's sick of me talking to her so much. But so she's like, "What else are you gonna do? Just keep working." It's like, "Okay, thanks, honey." So, not that they want me in Texas, so it's all good, and I'm honored and privileged to do it, and couldn't do it without this team. People like Megan Frezzo and Holly Myers did not retire. Megan came back out of retirement, if you will, to work for me and the team, so that we could have an executive group support staff. So again, it's great, and I'll be around for a while, so you're stuck with me a little longer. And what we did was, in that organization, then some other people were hired, not necessarily by me, but we try to make lemonade out of lemons, and we lucked out. So we have a young man named Alex Mizikar. You met Alec before, and Alec is now the DPW director. So we worked with him for 6 months or 5 months and said, what's the best fit? And he's extremely empowered to do this, and it's good experience for him. He likes it here. He moved here, and he could see this is a great path. There's city managers. If you ever wanted to be a city manager someday, there's different paths you can take. Some are HR people, some are DPW people, some are finance people, some are planning and economic development people. So I promised council that we would, guys like him, bring him into as much as we can to get him exposed to all the different things here, everywhere. And Christie's been great supporting him also. So we tried to, the way it was set up originally was for him to be a part of DPW, like Department of Public Services / Economic Development. That's a full-time job and more. So he wanted to do it right. I respected that. We worked it out, wrote a new agreement with him, so he's DPW director. I think you met Patrick Maher. He was here before. Patrick's the planning and zoning guy. He was promised a different path, but it wasn't the right path for him even and us. So he's now the community development director, and planning and zoning, he's all over that. He's got great experience, so he's very open to doing whatever he's got to do to make that process good, because as the mayor knows, it's pretty detailed, and we can't mess up, or we mess up big time. So he's taking that very serious, so he's the community development director. So I kept the title, it's city management / economic development director, because I still work for Christie and you guys, and that's what I like to do, and we just find time to make it happen. So the city has to have that in somebody's title and the work being done, because it's still very important. So I bring in Alec, Patrick, Marcy, Anthony, we bring them all in to any meeting anyway about economic development and run that. So, and I also committed to, you'll see some of those bodies here make a presentation sometimes, so they can start getting used to getting out there in the public, and the people will know them better too. So it's a win-win, and that's good. So I appreciate the opportunity, and I think I said this before, my dad was in this business for 50 years in Dearborn. He was the greatest public servant of all time. He'd say, finish this out in your career on a high note, you don't want to run away. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So whether you like it or not, you're stuck with me for a little while. So, having said that, economic development, I said pretty much everything at the business development meeting. That even blew me away. When I put that presentation together, it's like, holy, you know what, how much is going on in this town? And we're very cognizant of the fact that, again, boots on the ground, getting people to live here is very important, but just as important is keeping this boutique mix going, right? So I can tell you that our vacancy rate hasn't changed at all. We have Friendship Factory open because it was a shift. We have the winery open. Excuse me. There's a couple of little places, the Old Framers Workshop open, and we have, what's the other one we talked about?
Studio One now?
Studio One. So they're gonna come and go, and Christy and I take that as a challenge. We look and see, what do we need in town for our mix? We'll hit the road, we'll go find somebody, or they'll find us. There's 2 or 3 that you're gonna be very excited to hear in the next couple of months, that are well-established businesses that we don't have in town, that are making deals on businesses presently. A couple I can share with you is, and I didn't get to tell Christy this one yet, but the Delusa Building Company up on North Main, they took a nice little house that has got the stone on and stuff. It was a little dilapidated, they fixed it up a little bit, they're doing so well, they now decide they're gonna knock it down and build a replica, kinda like, the Vito's building, the Morgan Stanley building, right next door to Morgan Stanley, and stay there and double the size of their building. Again, we're doing a lot of projects in town that support that. Remember, we talked about these water mains that are gonna go in when we redo Main Street? That's so that when these buildings wanna be reoccupied or upgraded, they'll have fire suppression potential with upgraded to the utility. So you have that, you saw the condos that are at Glendale and Ferndale. That straight line wind did a lot of damage in this town. Hit my block, it hit Parkdale, it hit Winry, it hit, Terry got it bad, right? So we took a pretty big hit, and those new condos took a really bad hit, took 2 walls down before they were tied in. So Greg was set back pretty far, like $1 million, before he even got going. So he's out there starting to rebuild it again today. That's the 10 condos on Main Street. Steve at Sports Memorabilia just got his new windows in, so he's just about done. That's going to the sports card place that he's going in there. We had, how many ribbon cuttings, Mary, have you been at in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
3 or 4.
Yeah,
Lots of places to get Botox,
Yes, yep,
body sculpting,
yes.
micro needling, and a few other things I've learned.
He's been teaching me what these things are, so it's, yeah, it's a thing, and you know what, again, we talk about service industry, and service industry brings people here, so when people come in, whether it's men or women coming into these places, they come in for an appointment, and they're not all messed up, so they go out and shop and have lunch and things like that, so it's good to have that, balance. There's some places you would go, Maryland, and you wouldn't go out in public when you're done getting it done. Right? So, I like microblading, I learned that from my daughter, you can do that and go out and, and you can still have lunch and not wear a mask or something,
They
so.
can now wear a mask, right?
Oh, that's true, you can actually do that
And
now, so.
these places have really fixed up their
Oh, yeah.
office space fabulously.
They are world-class spas is what they are. They're actually incredible. And then we have Spice and Tea coming in. That's gonna be a world-class little, local flavor. Chris, you can have them make tea for you, right? That's the one, the Mini House Tea, and Tony, I'm not sure T goes with Coney's, but they'll do it for you if you want, so. So,
That's funny.
so little things like that, we're backfilling with this Tondu's, did I say a Tondu's?
Tandu Medical Spa.
That's one that the mayor was at. And then we have the catering place, the side dish. She's in, and
Oh, right.
again, these little things that are really cool that we keep getting them, so that's exciting. So, Planning Commission's got some big things coming in. So Sherry has partnered up with Rewald. Frank's kind of in the background on the elevator site. So they are just about to close in a couple of weeks, and they're gonna bring in a plan to the Planning Commission. That's for, live, work. Not a lot of units, actually, like 3 stories. We've seen the original drawings. And then save the elevator, the historic part of the elevator, make that their clubhouse, and renovate it and decide what we wanna do in partnership with them. So that's pretty cool. The Planning Commission's gonna have their hands full, October 3rd. So Solaronics has got a proposal for a 4-story apartment building, 107 units, and the folks in Ludlow are beside themselves already. But we'll go through a process of potential rezoning and then a site plan. So both those sites are not special projects, so it's not, let's make a deal. It's ask for the right zoning, try to build a building that meets the zoning, or you're gonna have, issue getting approved. So again, residential on both those. Joey LaChurco has a cement plant, his plans are in. I think that's in October also, so he's for like 74 units, some condos, some apartments. His partner bought the building next door to put a little office building by the bridge abutment on Diversion Street. And, the credit union, Chief Financial, it's looking pretty spectacular now. They're getting the landscaping in, they gotta do a little bit more paving. So it's been a long haul for Tom, but they're such supporters of the city, and we're ready to have them open up. We're still working with 2 developers for the closed collision shop and the cleaners, and on and on and on. So it's all good. We're a little bit overwhelmed staff-wise with this planning process. We had a meeting today with the internal staff. We made some great hires with Rose McKinney, who's our building clerk. She's got amazing experience, but we're overloading her. And Randy McClure is our building official. He's stepped in for Sid and done a great job. We're overloading him. But they're smiling, but we have to make sure that we don't let things get out of hand. So we have cross-trained back staff to just try to fill in so that nobody's overdone here. Because 2 meetings a month at the Planning Commission, that doesn't sound like a lot, but there's so much that has to go in to make sure you don't miss a deadline, get things advertised in the paper. And with Patrick and everybody on board, we're gonna make it happen. So we're trying not to miss a beat. So it's all positive, it's upbeat. I've been working with the mayor. We're gonna do kind of a city council retreat probably in January, so we can start talking about, what do we wanna do when we go home? What's the community? We wanna really look like, how much is too much for development? What would we like to point to? And there are leaders of this town, they set policy based on the residential input. I'm sure that's gonna involve the DDA board, the zoning board, and the planning commission at some point, so we're all on the same page, because it's a team effort to get these things across the finish line, and the only way to do that is to communicate. So I like that, and we don't wanna have a million meetings, but we're gonna try to do some of the best things that ever came out are from like the visioning sessions that you guys did. That just gets people thinking, and then now you bring in the finance guys and say, this is what happens if you do this. You don't wanna raise taxes? You might need a little bit more building than you're comfortable with, or you gotta find another way to do it to cut costs. So there's this giant balancing. Marcy and Anthony have these great spreadsheets or trigger points that you plug in this, and it tells you this is what's gonna happen. And you can keep moving the pieces around until you see what the ramifications are. How much more traffic are you gonna have? How much more stress are you gonna put on the police and fire department, and the water and sewer department? And so it's pretty good, solid planning. And then lastly, we're gonna go back through that master plan that we just approved and dig into all those districts, which a lot of those have to do with the Downtown Development Authority's spaces, and including the parking system. We're trying to get a grip on making sure that we exclude, I'm leading into Roger's thing here in a second, what we don't want and what we think is important for us. When we go out to try to recruit, we wanna know we're on the right page, not doing something that the master plan of the community isn't up for, if you will. Speaking of parking lots, so Monday night, we're taking the city council a maintenance contract for every single lot in the core of downtown, except for lot 12, which is fine, give thanks. That's gotta be rebuilt. That's like $112,000 on its own. We're gonna talk about that with council in the winter. But every other lot's gonna get tarred, crack sealed, and striped. So by the end of October. So you're gonna look like you have all brand new parking lots. the old saying, putting lipstick on a pig a little bit, but they're all savable. It'll extend their useful lives by 3 to 5 years at a significantly different cost of trying to rip them out and start over when you don't have to. Farmers Market's a good example. It's not perfect, but I think we got a lot of good compliments. It looks fresh and clean, and that's what we're gonna do with all the lots. And you guys don't even have to chip in, because you gave us the lots, so that's on the Parking Advisory Committee's budget right now, so.
So you'll figure out a way to cross-charge it back, we know.
Yeah, so, and Roger, if you don't mind, I'm gonna throw you on the spot here. So Roger and I have been talking about something that maybe under miscellaneous even tonight, you guys could talk about. And Roger's always come to me and said, the value of retail on the first floor is extremely important. So I've done some research myself in planning, how other communities and downtowns are handling that. You don't wanna say no to service industries, and you don't wanna say no to offices, but if you had too many realtors, too many spas, maybe all taking up your best space, you start losing your ability to have character and things that you want to support the residents and the business people that come to town. So Roger and I talked about, it would be a good discussion for you all to think about. We will say we value office and we value service industries, but we want them on the second floor of our downtown, just on Main Street, not the side streets, but the Main Street should be saved for retail or restaurants, if you will, we'll call those retail, on the first floor. So I think that's a good planning strategy. I'll be glad to take that to the planning commission if the board feels that way. I don't care if you talk about it tonight or whatever, but Roger and I told him that I would bring that up with him, because I think it's a good suggestion, and progressive cities have done that. We wouldn't be the first one to do that. And it helps us define, when people call in, it could be, there's an ordinance that says you have to be a retailer to be on the first floor. So any questions?
Roger, did you have some input on that one?
Not much, just that, we've had,
Move your microphone down a little bit.
sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. They good?
Yeah.
Just that I've been kind of concerned, because we had a really nice building recently, go to office, and it's, when people come down to shop, they don't want to have big gaps between where they're shopping. And that's the idea behind it, and I just hated to see, we keep getting, and they're gonna tell you, those people will say, hey, we bring people downtown. They do, but they're downtown to buy a building, and they may go down, but what we really are is shoppers, and we want people to go on and be able to go into a store, go in another store, and go in another store. And that would be my concern. My only question would be is what blocks we were gonna do this. I didn't know, I was thinking a little bit about that probably on the other side on this side of University, this would have to be discussed, maybe not often, maybe we wouldn't do that, but maybe the next 2 for sure, and maybe 2.5, go 3, but maybe 2.5 on that side, because we've got a very large office down there.
Right.
And it looks like it'll always be office, but there's potential down there for new buildings, but I just would think maybe we need to decide where we want to put this new.
Yeah, and I would put that onus on the planning commission. I think we could tell them the concept and the theory and let them start digging into it. We'll get our planners out here and look at what's best practice. And you're right, some of those, I wouldn't force it by Goodyear and stuff. Why, you don't need to do that, because let them build a second story there. But we can tweak it, but I think if it's just kind of maybe nod of the heads, I talked to the DDA board, and they're like, we're interested in exploring that as a potential of the zoning ordinance. Perfect timing, because we're doing the master plan districts for downtown core first. So that's coming up tomorrow night, actually, with the planning commission, so. If you're okay with that, I could bring it up.
Yeah, I think so. I'll open it up to the rest of the board if there's anybody that sees any reason not to discuss it. I think it's pretty much a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned.
If I could just add to
Yes,
the
please.
conversation, we get a lot of comments, especially when Greens was purchased, office. I think that really kind of pushed the needle
Yeah.
pretty far, more than what people are comfortable with, because we had been getting some pushback about a lot of the offices that had moved into Main Street. Not that there's a ton, but enough to make people a little uncomfortable, but that one really just tipped the scale, that we're getting those comments more and more, that what, are we becoming a service town? So a lot of it is optics as well, of
100%.
what the perception is, but that is a big building,
Yeah, I
and
mean, it
I
was
think that's really
nice
aggravated the
building.
situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough.
And I can tell you this, dropping the parking in lieu of to 1,000, it's great. So Greens would have been, if you wanted to do restaurants on both floors, you would have to pay $758,000. Now you'd have to pay $78,000. Big difference. So, but the person bought it before we got through that process. So you might have seen other people bid higher if they knew they didn't have to pay $750,000 for parking.
Yeah, so I mean, unless you need a formal,
I don't.
action, so from my perspective, it's going to be making sure that, we push the envelope to get what we want, but not put ourselves in a position where we're going to get sued or, so go through that. So I want to make sure that we understand that, we walk in with eyes wide open. We're always trying to encourage, or we always walk the walk of this is a free market, we don't want to be dictating that, but that said, is that there has to be. So if it's a function of creating a new district along these areas, or.
It'll just be a characteristic of a district, and I can tell you this, so right now in the CDB district, you can't have apartments on the first floor, only upper story apartments. So we've already somebody made that decision years ago, we don't want the first floor of the apartments. You can have them on the second floor, or anything above or below,
Right.
like Doc, but you can't have, on the first floor, you can't have upper story apartments, so we're not discriminating, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of following that same line.
Yeah, I mean, diversity is our strength, right? Just kind of quoting a phrase, but I mean, it's really, in this case, we want to have as many diverse businesses as possible, and, this has been going on forever, it's all, there's all the salons downtown now, right?
And then it was the jewelers, we went through cycles, right?
Yeah, so it's just that thing, and to your point, I think, Christie, I think that Green's definitely, that
Oh,
would
yeah,
have been,
that definitely.
that would have been a great, like the laundry in Fenton.
There you go.
So
That would have been perfect right there, so. But I don't have that much money, so otherwise I would have. But yeah, so I think come back with some recommendations for us, but, I mean, we're in full support of that.
Each month I can fill you in where we're at as we're going through the process.
Okay,
Okay?
gotcha.
All right, cheers.
Thank you, congratulations, Mr. Manager. Oh, sorry, Madam.
Yeah, just going back to the, how much is too much for development for this town. With the elevator site, you said that's 3 stories, how many units is that?
There's only 37 that we're looking at,
And so then Solaronics is
107,
in this cement plant?
74,
Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about now? The
74,
cement
yeah.
plant part?
It's a former cement plant,
How-
74.
Okay, and then cleaners development, that's just further down, that's not.
Yeah, so that there's,
that's sort of the-
that could be literally, the 2 gentlemen that are looking at it want to build 2 condos there for themselves, and then put a restaurant on the first floor.
Okay, and does that have anything to do with us, about the first floor? Okay. Well, thank you.
Okay?
Great, thanks. And now I can just call you Mr. Manager, and that's it, right? Just not late for dinner, right? Thank you for that update, and congrats. Main Street Next Gen Pilot Report, Madam Director.
Sure. So as many of you may have seen my multiple emails, we were fortunate to be selected with Eastern Oakland County as the pilot community, one of 4 in Michigan for the Main Street Next Gen. The idea behind the concept is that we've been accredited now 17 plus years. We've been asking them, what else do you have? What other tools are in the toolbox that we haven't used, because we feel like we've reached a certain level and we want to level up again, because that's what we do. So they took that to heart. This started the conversation back in 2020. Then obviously with COVID, they've been trying to get it on the books to do something. So finally this spring, they had announced that they were going to move forward with the 4 communities, which are Rochester, Royal Oak, Ferndale, and Farmington. So representatives from National Main Street came into Rochester and those other communities. They spent a half day in each community, and I know a few people here were able to sit down and chat with them. I'm going to defer to Ben in a second if he wants to chime in a little bit before we go any further. But they really wanted to meet our people, and then they wanted to get a tour of the physical environment. They wanted to see everything. So we walked them all over this town for 4 hours, and they got to see literally everything. The mayor had already gone back to school, so the council loaned us Mark Albrecht to go ahead and represent the council at the first meeting. And so I'll just kind of tip to Ben for a second if you want to talk a little bit about the discussions that were had.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was very comprehensive, mostly fact gathering by the consultant. I forget the cat's name.
Matt Wagner,
Matt
he's the
Wagner.
vice president of Main Street America.
Gotcha, yeah, so he was fantastic, asked really great questions, and was genuinely interested in sort of what our vision is. All right, so we've got here, what is next look like? And I thought it was very productive. Great discussion, John Bry, everybody there was great, but all sort of keenly focused on, what, I hate to say that what's next, but that's really what it was, right? So, very excited and very glad to participate and help in any way we can. We highly value our Main Street affiliation and want to make sure that we do everything we can to perpetuate that and keep leveling up, as they say, right? So.
Yes. So, I'm sorry, So building on that, we just got our email from John yesterday of our next steps of the next gen. So October 20th, they're going to be holding a series of hour-long Zoom calls. They're going to send me a list of the types of business owners or community people they want to see on each of those calls. Each will have a different focus, and they'll want us to invite 7 to 10 people from our community. So like we'll have these 3, then Farmington will have their own, Ferndale have their own. So these are just be for Rochester. So we'll have an opportunity over a 3-hour period, hour-long Zoom each for 3 different topics that they're going to send to us. I suspect, based on our conversations, one's going to be about small business. I think one's going to be about technology. And then I'm not sure what the third one's going to be. I know their big things that National's pushing right now are equity, diversity, inclusion. So I can't help but think that there'll be a third track for that. So that's the next thing that we know. Beyond that, I know that their end goal is hopefully to have something put together to present at the National Conference, which is going to be at the end of March next year. It's going to be in Boston. So they're working toward trying to have something to present there about this next gen then. So, but the only next thing I have is October 20th. So if everybody just kind of wants to, pencil that in, and then once I get the categories and the timing, I'll send that out to everybody to see if I can onboard some people, not just from this board, but also from the district, from the city. Probably gonna have to grab Mr. Manager and get some people involved so we can continue the conversations.
Fantastic.
Okay, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Just a quick question. You did tell what the outcome was. They want to gather all this information from, is it for national main streets in each state? Or how?
So National Main Street is working with us. So they are the umbrella organization, Main Street America, that oversees everything. So their idea is that using us as a pilot, they're hoping to come up with another division of Main Street that would be for communities that they're going to set these criteria, perhaps that it's, communities that have been accredited so many times, communities that have been practicing Main Street for X amount of years, whatever those criteria are, and then they would have access to possibly new training opportunities, new technical assistance services. One of the things that I'm pushing hard is for a development of a mentoring program, because I think it's really important for us as communities. I want to give back to other communities. I want people to learn from our successes, because maybe if we had someone mentoring us years ago, maybe we would have moved a little more quickly on certain things, or there's other things that would have been available to us that weren't.
So all 4 are from Michigan as a pilot?
Yes, they're using Main Street Oakland County as, Main Street Oakland County is the pilot coordinating program, and then Main Street Oakland County chose the 4 of us.
Okay.
So they, yeah, so that's why it's all 4, because they needed a coordinating program to support it. So Oakland County, since we were the ones that pitched it, they went ahead and did it. So Oakland County is actually funding this. This is not costing us anything, but Oakland County is funding this. If I'm not mistaken, next time John comes to visit, we can ask, but to the tune of about $50,000 by the time we're done, to bring in the consultants and the experts and do the whole process and put everything together. So, so we don't know exactly where it's going, but we're excited that there might be some new opportunities and more things that will benefit Rochester. So
That, and honored to be involved in the process as one of the Mary Kay Platinums, or whatever it is, right? For the
I don't think I'm getting a pink car, but that'd be super fun.
100%.
Yes.
Okay, anybody else on this particular item? All right, very good. Downtown light pole replacement program update.
And I do apologize that I'm literally the rest of this agenda. I'm
All right,
so
well,
sorry.
Madam Director, close us out.
All right, we've got a lot. So, as you know, we spend about $250,000 every year for light poles, and we've been doing that since about 2012 when we did Main Street Makeover. So this is our master map of light poles. As you can see up in the corner, we started with that we had to, after Main Street, we had to replace, 277 of the acorns and another 106 of the hook and bells. I am proud to say that out of all of these, we are down to 97 poles that need to be replaced. So we're about 2 years away from closing this out. The poles that we're replacing are from 1983. They are the original light poles for downtown. We're replacing cast iron with cast aluminum, so they'll have a longer lifespan, hopefully. Although they seem to be a little more easily dinged, I've noticed. As cars hit them, when they get knocked down, they do not get back up. They are pretty rough. But having said that, the last round of light poles, we were able to hold our pricing last year. So we pre-ordered, didn't have to pay until July 1. So those actually came in earlier than expected. They thought it was going to be 18-week turnaround. It turned out to be 10. Those came in, and those now are installed. We went to the east side. So we finished off East 4th, East 3rd, and started East Street coming south. So the next round, we'll start finishing off that end of the town, then we'll cross back over and finish that off. So we should be able, maybe with a little judicious budgeting, be able to get this done completely in 2 years. Because we've been averaging about 40, 42 polls a year. So if we could up that budget, we talk goals and objectives up at maybe 10,000, we could probably get it done in 2 years. So that'd be pretty great.
Just to start all over again.
No, because in 83, we got time.
I know, this is true. Well,
Plenty of
they are
time.
aluminum and not cast iron, so.
Yes. So that is.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting.
Yeah, so this is the master map, if anybody ever finds any interest in doing this. This was one of the city's interns did this little map for me, and it's my Bible because I can't scan it because it's too big for my copier, so I have to carry the stupid piece of paper with me. So, God help us if anything happens to it.
Got it. Take a picture.
Yes. All right.
Trick or treat.
All right, so I took the liberty of combining trick or treat and holiday events into a presentation, if that's okay with everybody. I have pretty pictures.
Sure.
Okay, good. And as I was going through, I realized we had so many other events that I wanted to touch on that fall into fall and everything else, so I just went ahead and just did this.
As long as I don't have to look at myself, I'm good.
I know when I looked up, that was kind of freaking me out. So anyway, we have a lot of things coming up at the office right now. Anybody who's been in there for committee meetings, you can see there's a little bit of everything everywhere. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to share all the things that are going on, plus a few new programs that you might not be aware of. So of course, starting chronologically, we're gonna start with fall. So Rochester Post is October 6th. Our theme this year is storybooks. So we have a lot of fun windows that are coming up. I know Linda that was here, she's doing Charlotte's Web. A lot of people are doing classics. We just had a new entry, somebody switched their window to be Paddington Meets the Queen, which is a very sweet book. So everything has to be based on a book, and I'm proud to say that Eden is volunteering for the first time at Post. She's going to be Paddington.
Oh, dear.
So we're very excited. So, but we have over 20 windows participating this year. It's really become a super popular event downtown. This is also another one that the concept actually, Linda Gallagher brought this to Promotions Committee, which she served on for many years. So this was another one that she brought to us from Holland, Michigan. So this promotion is happening on the 6th, and we're super excited to get that one going. Taste of Fall, it's going on right now through October 17th. It's our 3rd year of doing this. We started during COVID as a way to support restaurants, as you may recall, and then it was so popular, it's continued on. We were just featured on Fox 2 yesterday. We took the side dish with us, and they did their slow braised pork ragu with spaghetti squash. Was a big hit. They got a lot of comments on that, and I know everything from beverages to entrees, desserts, they're getting a lot of play on that. And we have a great social campaign going right now that's really catching fire. So the crepes from Tanya's amazing. So good. So lots of good stuff. So yes, so that's going now through October 17th. So you can stop by any restaurant, stop by, if you see any of the posters, they have a QR code. If you scan it, it'll take you to all the pretty pictures and tell you what everybody has. I highly recommend the apple pie donut from Bakehouse. Mm-hmm.
I saw the milkshake with tiramisu.
Yes.
At Naps. I was like, oh, man, that one's got my name on it.
Yes. So Trick or Treat and Halloween Fest is coming on October 15th. Trick or Treat downtown will be from 3:30 to 5. Then we have a costume parade down Water Street, as evidence there, led by the fire department and the police department. That's at 5:15, and then we lead them up to one of two places. They can come up to the farmer's market lot, which I'll go to a second of what's happening there, or they can go to the fire department where they are having a spaghetti dinner, and then I believe they're also doing some pumpkin carving over there. And all the proceeds for that benefit Raya. If they decide to come to the Halloween Fest, we have individual treat stations that'll be set up with toys and goodies and crafts. We also have the Metro Detroit Ghostbusters with Ecto One, which a lot of the kids really enjoy getting photos with, so that's a lot of fun. We have a ridiculous amount of inflatables that we set up for photo spots. The Linda Ray team is coming once again. They staged their pumpkin patch where they bring 200 free pumpkins to the first 200 visitors that stop by, and they have photo spots as well. And then last but not least, something that we worked on pretty hard, and I'm sorry to say this, if anyone's familiar with the 12-foot skeletons from Home Depot, it's a thing. So we didn't really realize it was a thing until they went live and crashed the site in 15 minutes and we couldn't get one, so I made it my personal mission. It took me 2 months, but we have one. We need help building it because it's supposed to take an hour and it's 85 pounds, but we've got one. And we're going to build it, and it's going to be at the Halloween Fest where the kids take photos with. I tried to get the fire department to help me build it, and they pretended like I wasn't talking.
I
so
was just
there's
gonna
that.
say, that sounds like a phone call to Chief John, just saying, so.
I kind of said it, he just sort of glossed over it, so I will be redirecting that conversation, see what we can do. Because he doesn't exactly fit in my car, because again, 12 feet tall. So if you want to see what one looks like, they have two on University, kind of just past your house.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yes. Oh,
and they
my
have,
gosh, that's-
yes, yes.
Then it's.
Yeah, I thought I was a little early, just saying.
Did you see the university one?
I got light show install starting next week, so I
I
can't
know, right,
judge.
you're just not the person to ask, got it.
So anyway, but the trick or treat, we get, Main Street businesses typically go through 3,000 pieces of candy in that hour and a half period. And at the Halloween Fest, I think that we usually, last count was about 700 kids come through there with their families. And they had a good time. We have a little donut factory down there with warm drinks and with their donuts, of course. So, Farmers Market is continuing through October 29th. October 29th is also trick or treat at the market for the little kiddos. So anybody that comes there, they can expect to get little treats. Sometimes they get apples or whatever the farmers have, little pumpkins. One year, farmers were giving out onions. I feel like the kids were sad, but they felt like they needed to get something in their bags. Kind of reminded Charlie Brown. He's like, I got a rock. It's like, you got an onion. So there you go. That's continuing through October 29th. We've been doing really well with our traffic there. We've been still seeing an average about 2,000 people a Saturday. It's going to start tapering off now as it's getting cooler, sports, things like that. And a lot of the produce is starting to go away. So now we're back down to a lot of our prepared foods and all the fall things. But everything.
Meat.
Yes, the meat, all those good things. So yes, so that's continuing through October 29th. But then we start to switch over to the holidays. That little logo right there, you're gonna see that on a lot of things. We're kind of going with this retro vintage vibe for the holiday season. I know we love we love the retro stuff. We're shooting the In-Town magazine next week. We've been out shopping for things for that right now, but we have a lot of fun things in store. We do have our full event calendar from pre-COVID, plus a few new surprises that I'm excited to share with you guys. So the Holiday Expo is back. This is a business development committee project. If Paul were here, I think he was going to talk a little bit about this. So this is something we haven't done since 2019. We couldn't do it in 20 because of the gathering, and then 21 because the hotel was so backed up accommodating events from 2020 that had to shift to 21. We couldn't get the space. So this is our first year. We are back. We have the full ballroom. This is in partnership with the Rochester Regional Chamber of Commerce. So the levels are, so we send it out to the downtown businesses and chamber members. We have 65 spaces available. From there, once we get as much as interest as we have from the DDA and the chamber, then we'll put it out on Love Local Rochester for more businesses to participate. So we're hoping to have a full crew. We usually have anywhere from 500 to 700 people that come through this event in the 3 hours. It's a lot of fun. We're excited to partner with the chamber and with the hotel again to bring this forward to everybody. And it's a really great way for businesses to get out there and just get name recognition. Some people actually bring product and sell it there. As you can see Diane from At Home Furniture right there selling things. But some people just use it as an exposure opportunity, and it's really great because it's not just people from Rochester, it's people from the greater Rochester area. If anyone at home is interested, we have tables available for $100. We did have 10 event sponsorship positions at $300, and we've already sold through those. So that is the expo. So that's the first one out of the cannon of what we lovingly call at the office Holiday Thunderdome, because it's a lot that week. So then the holiday window decorating contest kicks off that week as well. We used to do themed windows. We don't do that anymore because a lot of the merchants really wanted to use their own creativity and do whatever they wanted to do. So we just asked that it has to have a holiday theme to it. And so those are our winners from last year. I don't know if anyone did get an opportunity to see Home Bakeries. It was cake. It was the home bakery at Holiday. And then inside was another home bakery and another and another. It was amazing, and it was all cake. It was just fantastic.
I think that's my favorite one that they've done.
It was so good. I don't know what they're doing this year, but they are defending champions, so they always do such a great job. So we're excited to have them back. So voting will be open the 14th through the 20th for the holiday window decorating contest. Then Festival of Trees is coming back again. Festival of Trees, we are in your packet. I did include the sponsorship. So we have sold 22 sponsored trees this year, which is a lot for the committee, but we're up for the challenge. So we'll be building those trees plus an additional 5 for some other partnerships that we have with downtown businesses to donate things like Chef Chris is happy to donate his chef's dinner, and then we put together a great tree to go with that, and that's always one of our best sellers. Fire department gives us a ride in the fire truck in the Christmas parade. That's another one of our big ones. Big Bright Light Show, we donate the opportunity to flip the switch with Santa, Dave Llewellyn, and the mayor on stage. So we are expecting a nice turnout at Festival of Trees this year. The 18th is the cocktail preview. Tickets are on sale now. They're $50 a person, and that includes strolling dinner featuring downtown Rochester restaurants, beer and wine and entertainment. And we will have Santa there as well for photos. And then over the weekend, we have Santa coming for the kids from 12 to 5, so you can get your Christmas photos and you can go through. Everything is on a silent auction electronically. We switched to that in 2020. So it lets people that even if they can't make it to our event, they could still be a part of it and bid online if they choose to. This is the largest fundraiser for the Big Bright Light Show, raising over $45,000 annually for the show. So it's a lot. But that leads us into, because of course that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Line up. Fun fact, this is something that PSD is going to be talking about very shortly in the promotions committee. 2023 is the 50th anniversary of Lanyap. I don't know what we're doing about it yet, but we're doing something. So if anybody has any thoughts or ideas, I thought I'd just plant that seed. But so Lanyap is on November 21st, the Monday before Thanksgiving. So light show installation, you'll start seeing the dance trucks appearing around town next week, just working on wires and putting up the electrical services. And then the following week, you'll probably start seeing the bucket trucks and the scissor lifts starting to install lights. So we do have one new color combination coming with the lights, which I believe will bring us to a total of 14 different light colors, because we've advanced to the level now that we can get custom light colors for the exact same price as we buy regular. So there is a pink and purple combination that was requested that is coming, that I think is going to be pretty fun. So yes, so we have lots of things happening for Big Bright Light Show. We're already getting requests of people wanting to make reservations, do different things, bring things downtown. So Big
We're
Bright.
already sold out that evening
Sweet.
for dinner.
We're hearing that from a few people, like their window tables are done. So yes. So we're very excited for that. So Lanyap is on the 21st, and then continuing that week, of course, Light Show goes through January 15th. We're anticipating, because the county, even though they've said they're in for Fire and Ice, they have not solidified dates. Hopefully, we're gonna be meeting starting next month, and we can knock that down. So January 15th would take us through the weekend that it typically is, because it typically butts up to Martin Luther King Day. So that's where that date is. If they would choose to go a week later, then we'll probably go ahead and extend the show a week later, because it always matches up with Fire and Ice. We pulled the permit from the state for the end of January, so we're covered either way. So, but here it comes. Then, of course, that week we have Plaid Friday on November 25th and Small Business Saturday on November 26th. We have heard from the businesses that Small Business Saturday is great, but for them, the Friday, the Black Friday, because so many people have stopped going out to the malls and the big box, that the Friday for many is even better than Small Business Saturday. Some people say it's equally as good. So we've really doubled down on supporting both of those efforts. The county is trying to put something together for Plaid Friday and Small Business Saturday. So we're waiting to hear on that. Last year they partnered with Genesis and gave us a lot of giveaways for our shoppers that we then distributed to the businesses to give to their customers. So we'll see what they come up with us for this year. Last year on Small Business Saturday, we also started with our downtown texting service that we had started 2 years ago, that we got the grant from the county to do that. We did a text your receipt, and then you're entered into a drawing, and that was super popular, so we're hoping to do that again this year as well. And there's also going to be some cute Shop Local totes that we are producing with Love Local on it. Neighborhood Light Fight. This is one that started in 2020. Going into 2020, PSD and Promotions Committee have put together an enhanced holiday program that had a few new elements to it. And when COVID hit, there weren't many things on that calendar that we could do. But one of them was the Neighborhood Light Fight. This goes into something that we've been talking about for a while, is that, again, is with this next gen, and we talked about it quite a bit, is expanding our reach out to the communities. That we do so many things for our businesses, but maybe there's smaller things that we might be able to do that engage with our community. And obviously, since Christmas lights are on brand for us, we threw it out there asking our community if anyone would like to participate in something called the Neighborhood Light Fight. To participate, you have to have yourself and up to 4 neighbors. You can have as many as you want, but we need a minimum of 5 to make a team. You need a name for your team. There is no cost to you to participate other than the cost of whatever you decide to trick out your house as. This happens to be a house on Ludlow. This is Lights on Ludlow is the team name. They are the defending champions. They've won the last 2 years. So we already started recruiting for Neighborhood Light Fight. Last year we had over 55 houses. Right now I only have, the first team has come in registered and they already have been recruiting all year because they lost by a very slim margin. Alice in Winterland, and they are coming to play. They already have 53 houses themselves. So they're really working it. The prize that they get is actually, they get $500 in downtown gift certificates toward a block party. So of course, having Ludlow win has been a little challenging for the city because you can't really shut down Ludlow, so they've been moving things into the park. But it's been a lot of fun. We crowned the winner. We announced it at the Caroling in the City event on December 11th. This year, we are able to get a new sponsor, so I'm excited to report that Chief Financial Credit Union is the official sponsor of Neighborhood Light Fight. So this event costs us nothing, and it's just a super big bunch of fun. So that's coming up, so you'll start to see all of those things going up probably in the month of November. The Snowman Stroll. This is one of those things that we were waiting on. That was an idea that we had with pre-COVID. So as everybody remembers the sheep that we had, and we do get constantly people asking us, are you ever gonna bring back the sheep? Our answer typically is no, because the reason we brought them back a second time was during Main Street Makeover, and we were trying to draw people downtown. Public art events are pretty intense, and so we didn't know if that was something that we'd wanna do. But then I saw this fiberglass snowman, and he's pretty cool. He's at our studio right now. If you've been in there for any meetings, you've seen he's about 5 foot tall. We just decorate him because he looks sad otherwise. So just like the sheep, we put a call out to local artists to submit designs to bring our fiberglass snowmen to life. We decided to do 12 because 12 Days of Christmas, I'm all about a theme. And also we thought that that would be fun because then we have 12 bump outs on Main Street. So we would put them in there so then they can be protected, because the challenge is sheep we could put right on the sidewalk. Unfortunately, we don't have to think about snow in the summer. We have a plow that goes right down Main Street. I can't have a big 5 foot snowman sitting in the middle of a sidewalk because something's going to happen and it's not going to be good. So that actually happens to be Buddy the Elf. He just got sponsored. So we have 10 of the 12 are sponsored. We have 2 left, and we have 2 sponsors that have them on hold. But if anyone is interested, they're $2,000 each. Of that $2,000, $1,000 goes to an artist as an honorarium to bring the design to life. And then they have the option, whether at the conclusion of the event, if they would like to keep their snowman and take it home, or they can auction it for a charity of their choice, and we will do the auction. Using our same technology we use for the big bright light show, we will go ahead and do that. So there's one that actually just got sponsored yesterday from Merrill Lynch, Nancy Salvia, and the proceeds from that one are gonna be going to Community House. So Buddy just got sponsored today, so we have they're moving along, so we're very excited. So I think those are gonna be a fun addition to Main Street this year, but that was one of those other programs that we were working on. And again, we have them up through the 15th. I think that date will stick just because as it gets colder and they get snow and things, if people are wanting these as items, we don't wanna have them out in the elements any longer than they need to be. Kris Kringle Market, December 2nd and 3rd. This is always a great event for us. Strudel is coming back. That's the first question that we have. One of the things that the PSD changed this year is they went to a juried process, because while we have a lot of vendors that have been with us every year, we have been getting more and more interest from more vendors that we thought would add value. We've worked with the police chief to see if there's any way to expand the event, and unfortunately, with the way that the parking structures were locked out, I can't go north. We can't really go too far to the south because we can't block the parking lots or the businesses there. We can't block the intersection because then it cuts off the parking deck. So there really aren't a lot of opportunities unless we want to split it off to another street, which we don't think would be a great move. So in the juried process, we put out to all of our vendors that you're all welcome to apply and reapply if you've been a previous vendor, but we're taking all applications starting at 0 and building out. So that's exactly what we did in August. So the Kris Kringle Market is completely sold out. We're excited to partner with the Rochester Lions Club again. They'll be bringing Santa and having the marshmallow roasting, and all the proceeds go to them. And then we're partnering in the big beer tent with Ra Ra and Ra Ya as they man our beer and glühwein sales, and then they receive the proceeds from that. So it's a great community event. It brings down a ton of people, and it happens to be the busiest weekend other than Lanyap. So having said that, of course, since it's so busy, we might as well throw in one more thing, and that's what we did last year. The downtown cookie stroll is something that we had last year. This was an idea from 2020 that we pulled forward last year and is going to be continuing. If anyone is not familiar with this idea, what we did is we sold these really cute Rochester branded cookie tins that we were able to procure. And then we worked with downtown businesses, the restaurants, bakeries, to produce 12 individual cookies. And they're good size, like Cookie Monster size cookies. And we got 12 different cookies. And then people could come, they could buy their cookie tin. They get an actual cookie passport, and they go to 12 different businesses that elected to be cookie stations. They pay for that privilege, and then those people come in with their ticket, they click it, and then they get their cookies. So when they leave, they have a dozen really yummy Christmas cookies. Again, I keep looking at Chris, but Chris had probably our favorite cookie last year. It was a pecan, do you remember it?
S'more, yeah.
It was so good. So last year, because we were experimenting a little bit, because it's still COVID-y out there, we did the cookie tins as a pre-sale online. They were $30 for a tin, and we put it out there on November 1st. November 4th, we put them live, and we sold them out in 8 minutes. So we have 150 cookie tins this year. It's a nice fundraiser for PSD. So we have 150 cookie tins this year. Our sponsor is OPC. So they offset the cost of some of the cookies for the merchants, and it's a super fun event. We got nothing but positive comments about it last year, and it takes place on the Saturday of Kringle. So once people buy their pre-sale tin, they can come into the DDA anytime between then and leading up to the day of Cookie Stroll to procure their tins and then go on their tour. And I have it on good authority that there may be 1 or 2 bonus cookies this year. Potentially a baker's dozen, and then OPC may be offering an extra cookie as well. So if you want to get sugared up, this is the place for you. But we're not done. Caroling in the City, December 11th. So this was one that we brought back last year. We weren't able to do it in 20, but we could do it in 21 because we could be nice and spread out and completely outdoors. So caroling in the city, one of the things that we added last year, which was sort of unintentional, but people seem to really enjoy, so we're bringing it back this year. With the chamber having to cancel the parade last year, we had put the offer out to anyone who had a parade float, if they wanted to bring it to caroling in the city and park it along Main Street. We had about 5 floats take us up on that, but people that attended caroling in the city absolutely loved it. So we're going to be in front of that this year with the chamber, letting people know ahead of time that if you are in the parade, we'd love you to come so they don't just tear down their floats and then we can't have them. It was pretty great. We also were able to get the Rochester High School Marching Band to come through, which was pretty great. And they opened everything up for us. So we're doing that, and then we're also working through, for anybody who doesn't have a float but still wants to come down, because Main Street, when you close it from Second to University, it's really big. There's a lot of space. So we're gonna be doing sort of a holiday trick your ride Christmas edition. So we're gonna be asking people to trick out their rides with a holiday theme and park them along Main Street. There'll be some judging that goes along with that, with the floats. So we're gonna have a good time with that. So that's coming up on December 11th from 5 to 8. Last new thing, Pancakes and Pjs. Now this is something that we wanted to do back in 20, and then everything changed. So this is a partnership with the fire department. As you know, they're famous for their pancake breakfast. So we talked to the chief about possibly staging a pancake dinner, because everybody loves breakfast for dinner. It's going to be a ticketed event, and we're encouraging families to come in coordinating PJs. We'll have photo spots set up. We will have pancakes, not quite as fancy as this, but we will have pancakes. We'll probably be showing some movies down there and doing some other fun things with the kiddos, and that will be on the evening of December 13th. So again, as a small fundraiser for the PSD, it's another way that we're reaching out to the community to do a few different things, and it'll be a nice night for the families to come down, have pancakes, and they can go up and see the lights. So we're excited. So that one's coming. Tickets are not on sale quite yet. We're working through the details and the logistics of bringing all these people into the fire department in the evening for pancakes. So
Send them home sugared up.
yep. You know it. So that, I believe, is everything. So any questions? Oh, thank you. Thank you for the mail.
Very busy.
We're very busy, yes, but we love it. So it's all good. But we have a lot going on this year.
100%.
So
Why don't you roll into the gift certificate?
sure. So I don't have a slide for this, but for anyone who's familiar, in 2020, Consumers Energy had done a program that they worked with about 45 different cities, DDAs, or chambers that offered gift card programs. And they reached out to us and wanted to donate dollars so we could do a match program. They wanted you to do a 50-50 match. So for every $50 gift certificate purchase, they would use the dollars to then donate $50. So the first time that we did that was in 2020, and they had given us about $5,000. And then She Financial had matched that with us. And then we did another round where the DDA match, and then we had an angel investor show up, and so we did 3 rounds, and we were very tired by the end of that. So last year, Consumers Energy approached us earlier, so we were able to kind of get everybody on board. So we got PSD on board, DDA, and Chief again, and so we did it one time, $20,000 of match, here we go. So Chief Financial already sent me a check. We have not heard from Consumers, so regardless, they have committed for this year, and they signed an agreement to commit for next year as well through Chief Financial. So we know that we're doing it because they already sent us $5,000. We don't know what Consumers' plan is this year, but we thought it was timing-wise appropriate to approach DDA, and then we'll be approaching PSD as well to see if they want to re-up their $5,000 commitment. From the DDA last year, the $5,000 that we had came out of our Love Local dollars. So those monies that were paid back from the county, as well as monies that we fundraised for throughout the year, selling all the Love Local merchandise and different promotions and things like that. So it's not coming out of capital, it's just coming out of our operations side of things. So I wanted to throw that out there tonight, because we haven't obviously set the dates or anything, but if we can know ahead of time so we can just do this once, staff would say thank you.
Right, 100%. Board, any thoughts on that?
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
Expo, that's at the water park.
Correct.
And is that still with the chamber, is that what you said?
Yep, it's still working with the chamber. Yep, so we're, actually, it's our event, we're managing it, we're the ones writing the check for it, but the chamber is sending it out to their members, so that's the partnership.
Okay, I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, but it is a DDA event under our Business Development Committee.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay,
So
but
in turn-
that chamber members, are they can have a.
So it's, right now it's open to DDA members and chamber members, and then, probably after the end of the month, we're gonna put it out through our Love Local pages so that we can fill in the rest of the spaces, but we gave priority to DDA and chamber.
Thanks, I thought you said that, but I just wanted to confirm.
Yep.
So getting back to the $5,000 match, is there anybody on the board? Do we need an action of the board, or just pull out of existing
I think
budget
that we
funds?
need, I know we had a motion last time, it's
Yeah.
not, it's just a reallocation of funds that are existing,
Yeah,
but,
so
yeah.
I can't make a motion, so if anybody is interested in re-upping, would like to make a motion to that effect.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. All right, there we go. Motion made and support for a $5,000 reallocation from Love Local to the gift certificate. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Yep, you bet. Executive Director update, I think there's probably nothing left, is there?
No, there probably is, there's probably something, hang on, let me get to my page here. I got a lot going on. Oh, yes, Monday. So I know you've been seeing a bunch of emails from me about this. John Bright was supposed to come last Monday to City Council to do our official accreditation presentation, and he had a conflict, so he had switched, so it's next Monday that he is coming to council. So I'll be there. If anybody else wants to come, they want to take some photos with council and with any DDA board members that are available with the accreditation plaque, I believe.
So that's next Monday.
So that is next
This
Monday.
coming Monday.
This coming Monday at 7, yes. And I believe that we're under public comments, so it would be at the top of the agenda. So if somebody wanted to come, it wouldn't be a big expenditure of time.
You have to stay all night like these guys do.
Yeah, exactly. But we would appreciate it if anybody wants to join in and hear all the nice things they're going to say about us and
All right, fantastic.
get a photo op.
Anything else, Executive Director-wise? Is
I-
the main thing?
I don't think so.
All right,
I think
I
that's
feel
it.
fairly confident that we've nailed the events and marketing update.
We're good.
Financial report is in your packet. If you got any questions, feel free to reach out to Christy or Anthony. Biz Dev,
Yep, so we met today. So, yes, we are on board with Holiday Expo. All of that is moving forward. Coming in October, we will probably have our next round of anniversary awards and those recognitions we're doing quarterly. So those, we'll have our next round coming here for the October meeting.
gotcha. Site Dev?
Nothing besides the light poles, we covered that.
Yeah, got it. All right, very good. All right, well, with that, I think we've pretty much, Madam Councilperson.
I forgot to say, I really enjoyed my time on the DDA for 15 years. I wanted to remind people that I did really love it, and I'm glad that I'm continuing to be a part of this and on the other side.
Well.
Otherwise it would have been a bigger speech, but I'm still here, so it's sort of like, yeah.
It's like, but I think like I said, it's just, we're just grateful and blessed that you're still part of the team, so, right?
Yeah, I just thought I was supposed to say something.
Yeah, right, no,
Everybody
100%.
says something after 15 years. Or even 1 month.
Right? Aye. Well, it's all good. Anything else for anybody in the miscellaneous? All right, with that, meeting adjourned.